Good morning. I took down yesterday's video because I don't want to dox a friend. He was fine with the information I gave. I had second thoughts. His name is not the most common, and his occupation is pretty specialized. Ryoichi and I are self-employed. We can do whatever we want. My other friend belongs to a corporation, and they have policies about extracurricular activities. And I don't want him to get into trouble or even have someone higher up just secretly frown on him. He's doing me favors, and I don't want him to get into trouble. I want zero chance of that. All right, the plan for the weekend is this. Mountzou is here. The old original coastline used to look more like this, where the proto-Fukuyama, whatever its name was a strip in front of the mountain. And Mountzou was then in a much more dominating position. They say there is a lost castle on Mountzou from 1,300 years ago. We know the name. We know the time frame. We just don't know where it is. It's lost. That's why it's not in my castle database. It's in no one's castle database because it's lost. But the general opinion, and that's sometimes a red flag to me, but the general opinion is that it was up here. And our megalith is here, so the same neighborhood. Maybe you could think about that when we go up there this weekend, because that would be a hoot if we could find a lost castle, lost for 1,300 years. Zhao's old name you can translate as Boulder Mountain, if you're talking about natural large rocks, or Megalith Mountain, if those rocks are carved or shaped or worked. It's the same Japanese word for both. It has both meanings. Now, the biggest bare piece of stone on the mountain is this enormous rock face here. That's a cemetery underneath it, a modern cemetery. And I just wonder if it might be built on top of an older graveyard, maybe an ancient one, just because this cliff, whether natural or not, seems to face the winter solstice sunset very nicely and conveniently, which is usual for ancient megalithic graves. Winter solstice sunset this year in Fukuyama, the sun will set at 242 degrees. So check that out with your own protractor, and let's try to remember to keep our eyes on that. That might be a sight to see. And I think this area needs some on-the-ground exploring. These twin rocks over here look like giant gates. You can just imagine them swinging open and armies of orcs and demons marching out. We explored them last summer, you might remember. They are spooky, with real spooky caves dug out underneath them, but I'm pretty sure the stones themselves are natural. But we're interested now in the peak of Mountzou, the area circled here. Let's zoom in. Okay, Ichigo Kindergarten, Strawberry Kindergarten, is here. Easy to find with its red roof. Strawberry red roof. The trailhead is behind the kindergarten. We climb up here, colored in pink, to just above that shrine. You see the Torii gate symbol, that's a shrine. And the rock is up there, commanding a narrow perch. It faces this way, east by south, that's for sure. And more precisely, 109 degrees if I am right. If you're interested, ask me and I'll show you how I calculate that with dead reckoning and eyeballing and, well, if you're interested, ask me and I'll show you. Now, the direction of sunrise this Friday, Friday the 4th, the beginning of spring and the start of the ancient New Year is 109 degrees. Here we are again. And going in closer. And closer still, very close now. And now you can see our rock. It's right here. You can even see the cleft. Now here are some new photos from Tuesday. I went up there to confirm that the rock was still there where I remembered it, and it was, yes, it was helpful to climb again in daylight to refresh my memory before we do it in the dark. Now, many of you have said that you wished you could come, and of course you can't. But you can help from home. If you would, please look carefully at these photos, and if you see anything and get any ideas, no matter how trivial or crazy sounding they might seem, please share them. I've circled some points of interest to me. But I'm interested in what you see. Now, a few things are worrying me. One is the weather. I wish I could go on Friday, but I can't. I will go Saturday and Sunday. And let's just hope that the sun is able to break through those clouds, even a little, even for a short time. These trees bother me. They block the sunlight a little. I hope not too much. Can't chop them down. They don't belong to me. And I've already been pestering City Hall. I'd be the prime suspect. Lichen and dirt. They have surely reduced our stone's reflectiveness. And again, there's nothing we can do about that. I'm not going to scrub this rock with soap and bleach and no. One thing that really bothers me, we don't know the ancient program. Now, a simple guy like me, I check when the sunrise is. Okay, sunrise is 7:01. Right. So I climb up there before sunrise and get my butt in place before 7:01, plant myself down and stare at the rock until 7:01. Easy. But maybe the ancients weren't so simple. Okay? Maybe they would gather at the foot of the mountain nice and early. And then sunrise was their cue to begin climbing, because They were smart. They wouldn't try to climb the mountain in the dark. Sunrise would come up. That's their permission to start climbing sensibly at 7:01. And then they eventually get up there and unpack all their ceremonial equipment and start a ceremony with a prearranged set of dances and chants and prayers and what have you that is all carefully timed to last until the sun gets a little higher up. And maybe that's the time, say 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, when this machine is calibrated to receive and reflect back the maximum sunlight from that angle later in the morning. And meanwhile, I'll be there like a dummy, staring at this thing at 7:01, wondering what's the big deal when I'm just hours early. This really worries me. And one more thing, countless earthquakes and typhoons over thousands of years may have budged the stone. And we don't know how precise it was, is, and must be in order to work. If it's shifted a few millimeters, and listen, your house and mine have probably settled a few millimeters, does it still work? Well, there's not much we can do about any of these worries, so we'll just go and hope for the best. Now, it was hard to find anyone to go with me. That's not true. It was easy to get Ryoichi to go on Sunday. He volunteered immediately. So thank you, Ryoichi. Other friends just have no interest at all, which is understandable. That's fair. Or they have work or family commitments, as I do on the Friday. Or germophobia. Or orophobia or acrophobia, both of which I respect because I have both of those. And my heart is always in my throat. It's going to be in my throat both mornings. And just looking at a mountain from far off, I get a little afraid. Engineer friend is coming on Saturday with his son. I think we can call him engineer friend. He looked at the rock, heard my theory, and this modern engineer agrees, and he thinks he can see what our ancient engineer was doing, his ancient colleague. Maybe our modern friend can pick up where our ancient friend left off. Anyway, he's very excited. There was no twisting his arm. And I'll just try to remember not to speak his name on camera or show his face. Journalist friend really wanted to come. She sprained her ankle last week snowboarding. Now, she even still wanted to come. She thought she might be able to hobble up there, but I advised her not to. The way is very rugged, and you really need the use of all four limbs. But she is planning to write an article about our adventure. She's already cleared it with her editor and is already researching it. And she's a terrific researcher, so she is helping us a lot, and she's made me promise to take her up there after her ankle is better. Okay, I'm busy with my normal work, never mind this project, so probably no video tomorrow or the next day, Saturday, or the next day, Sunday, because I'll be busy those days. But I will try to report to you as soon as I can with our results. And I hope our results are good. So, thank you for watching, and here's to this weekend. See you on the other side. Bye-bye.